So we have Robert Moore here. What an amazing guy, and the patience that you have is more unbelievable than anything.
Thanks for having me, Tommy. Yeah.
So we did last in with the Kids for Cash.
Yep.
And that was interesting. But, you know, what you really do, like nowadays, is even more of a patient type of thing.
It is.
So what do you do now?
So worked my way out of the news, out of TV, took a toll on me after all the years. Now I work for a local real estate company here in the Palm Beaches, and I do their social media, PR, and videography. That goes back to my news days, the video. There it is. Drone shots, interior house shots, agent bio videos.
What's agent bio videos? What
Okay,
is
so you have a real estate agent, right? Let's say you're Tommy, the real estate agent, and you want to market yourself. People want to know who Tommy is, right? You can just show up at the door, hi, I'm Tommy, here's my business card, and that's it. But here's a little video about who Tommy is. Get to know him on a little personal level, maybe. Born and raised in, wherever you were born and raised, how your life became what it is, how you got to the point from where you were to real estate. Just a nice little story about the agent, and do an interview with them, and then cover it with video. So it's all this great video of them, walking in throughout a house. Maybe they're kayaking, maybe they're on a paddle board. I don't know.
What made you walk away from the news industry? I mean, I think you repeated before there was just like too much, but like elaborate on that. Like you were with NBC affiliate,
Yep.
Fox affiliate, and then you were doing the reporting, but you were also setting up the studio at the same time, right?
So years ago I started off as a one-man band, as it's called. That's a guy who goes out with the camera, the microphone, plays the role of reporter and cameraman. And then I fell in love with behind the camera, so the video. And so the video merged into, we would go out on a story, but before I went on the story, I'd help set up a studio. Maybe little things here and there. And then after I was done for the day that I thought I was done, I'd be setting the studio up for another interview. It was a grinding shift. It was early mornings. Saw a lot of death, murders, fires, bad stories, and it just took its toll on me. After too much of seeing that all the time is just, I was miserable.
What do you think was the worst thing that you saw when you were reporting?
I watched a man burn alive.
You watched a man burn alive?
I still see it some days in my sleep, and I mean this. I was at I'm thinking about it now. I was at a Mother's Day car, whatever you want to call it, car outing. They bring all their cars, they lift the hoods up, right, for Mother's Day. And I had just got there, I arrived, I parked. And this is in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania. I park. I'm waiting to interview the owner of the establishment to talk about the Mother's Day car show. So his wife said he'll be here in a minute. So I'm getting shots of the cars, and the highway is right there. There's a 4-lane highway. And all of a sudden, you hear screeching tires, and you just hear a boom, a crash, and then a big black plume of black smoke. I can still see it. Had no idea at first, and you just see everyone running up to the highway. So I have the camera. I run up to the highway, and there's a classic car that was turning into the lot. An old lady coming down the hill couldn't see because the sun was in her eyes, and she rear-ended the car, and it burst into flames. And it had jet fuel for the, I don't know why. No clue.
Jet fuel in a car?
It was some, maybe it wasn't jet fuel. It was some crazy accelerant, and it blew up, and the guys were there trying to rip the guy out of the car, and they couldn't get to him. And I in the news in me was rolling on it. Couldn't see him because it was come with flames, but not a nice thing to see.
Right.
So
and it still lives with you till today, right?
Sure. I mean, and it's not something nice.
Now, me and you have talked before.
Mm-hmm.
So when you were doing the reporting, you would do the reporting, set up the studio, go interview the person, then come back and then
Yeah, you
render it, or how would that whole thing
well,
go?
you never knew how long your day was going to be, right? So you'd go out, you'd have, I would get in at 3:30 in the morning, one of my shifts, and you're supposed to be done at noon. Well, it was never noon. It was 3:30, and sometimes you get home at 3:30. And yeah, you would shoot a story, and you'd have to edit it, right? It has to get on TV for 5 or 6 o'clock at night, so you'd have to put it together. It's long hours for not so great pay.
So what were your hours then, like when you were doing that? Because you said you were getting called at like 3 o'clock in the morning. Hey, there's a story, you have to get out of the house and do this.
So it switched. Like when I first started out, I was dayside. I call it dayside. It was 9 to 5, but not 9 to 5 again. We talk about the news. You're going to a location. You're setting what they call live shots. When you see the reporters on TV, they're live in Atlanta, Georgia, talking about the election or whatever they're at. So you're setting up the truck. You're doing a broadcast, you're breaking down the truck, then you have to drive back to home base. So you got to imagine the time that it takes to do all that. And if your shot is an hour and a half away, now you got to drive an hour and a half back. So you're still not done until you actually leave the building. And then they try to find you to do other things. And you want to get the hell out of there because you've been there all day. But dayside to then I worked the overnight shift. And that was the shift where, like I said, that's what broke me. What happens at 3:30 in the morning? Or overnight.
Killing, death, shooting.
Bad things happen.
Right.
After midnight, they say bad things happen. That's what I saw a lot of. Well, there were good stories, the heart-wrenching stories, good stories, but there's a lot of bad things.
So they had you on like supposedly day shift, but it really wasn't like day shift.
Well, it was day shift, but then I switched, like I said, to this overnight shift, and it worked out. As weird as it sounds, it worked out for my family at the time. I had 2 young kids. Wife was working too. I would get home from work. She would go into work. I'd get a little nap in. It just worked. But it broke me down after so many years.
And what got you into it? Like, what got you so interested in reporting or like building studios like you did here? And we'll get into that. And you put a lot of time in here. Oof.
Well, I wanted to be a sports broadcaster.
That's where it originally happened.
Yep. I wanted to be a sports broadcaster, and went to Temple University, great school, Philadelphia, go Owls, and I had my son my last year in college, just finishing up last semester. Find out, wife at the time now, she is my wife, is pregnant, and it switched my whole thing because I think if I didn't have my son, I might be moving all over the country because that's what you do when you get into TV. You want to get to the ultimate goal, which would be for sports, ESPN, right? Or if you're a reporter, maybe it's Fox News, maybe it's CNN. That's the goal, but you got to work your way up. You got to start at a crap market in Des Moines, Iowa.
Right.
And work your way around the country.
Now, how does somebody get to ESPN? So, like, you're like, right now you're with the affiliate of NBC, Fox. You've done that, right?
Yeah.
So now what are the next steps to get to ESPN where you have a shot?
Well, it's working your way up the ladder. Sometimes you get lucky, right? Everybody gets lucky. Sometimes you know somebody. You see plenty of broadcasters on TV that you're like, how the hell, who hired them?
Yeah.
They're terrible. But it's because maybe they knew somebody. But normally, the chain of command, like anything, you got to start somewhere. You put the time, you put the work, you put the effort into it. You go from a place like Des Moines, Iowa. No offense to the people in Des Moines, Iowa.
Just the middle of nowhere.
Right.
Basically, right?
And then you get maybe to, it's market sizes they go by. I think Philadelphia is a market size 4, which is good, right? New York. Still think New York, and don't quote me on this, is 1 or 2.
What's California?
LA is huge. They're probably 1, actually. I don't know. It depends on the coverage area. How much?
So is it lower the number, the bigger?
So 1 would be the biggest market.
Oh, okay, I see.
And then you have network. So you want to get to network. That's when Tucker Carlson or Sean Hannity and guys like that, they're making the big bucks. That's what you want to get to, right? You want to be Sean Hannity.
Now, remember when we looked that up? We saw that Hannity was making $40 million a year. We saw that Tucker, who was paying all the bills for everybody at this point in time in Fox, is getting $6 million. Ingram. Gary, what's her name? Ingram.
Laura Ingram.
Laura Ingram. She's getting $10 million.
Yeah, it's nice. Nice.
Plus, he's got his radio thing going on with Hannity. I'm saying.
Yeah.
He's getting $40 million from Fox, but I mean, believe me, if they want Tucker to stay there, they better up that contract.
Yeah.
Because everywhere I read that he's paying the bills for everybody.
I bet.
Do you like Hannity?
I listen to him very often. I try not to get into the political thing too much, but I mean, he's good at what he does. He is. He's amazing at what he does, and it depends on what side you swing, right? If you swing maybe that more conservative way, or more, if it's a liberal way, maybe you're into somebody like I don't know who's over there.
On CNN.
Yeah, what's the young guy?
The one that nobody can stand. Gary, what's the guy's name? London. What's his name? The guy on CNN. Don Lemon.
Yeah, but there's another one. The governor's son.
Cuomo.
Or
Chris
yeah.
Cuomo.
Put that mic up to your mouth, Mike. Or not Mike. Put the mic there.
We can't hear you, Gary. There you go. Yeah, now we hear you.
Now we can hear
Now
him.
we got him.
Yeah. Well, what's his name?
Chris Cuomo.
Yeah.
Chris Cuomo.
Chris Cuomo.
Oh.
So depending on whichever way you swing, whichever way you want to listen. But those are the guys that are making the money. They're making the big bucks.
I mean, he's making $40 million. I like him, but he's so passionate about Trump and everything else, which I think is a good thing. But it's like, me personally, I can only watch him for so long.
Sure.
You know what I mean? But Tucker, when Tucker first came on, I couldn't stand him.
Yeah.
But then he kind of got his. He figured
Got
out
his
how
mojo.
to make it work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then he did. And
Yeah.
now I'll watch him.
Sure.
I won't watch the rest of it because it's just the same shit over and over again.
Yeah.
But
Well, even in the sports world, you got guys that, and one of the guys I think of all the time is Stephen A. Smith. You've heard of Stephen A. Smith?
yeah, I used to watch him all the time. I still do watch him actually. He's over at ESPN. He was on Fox. Then he went back to ESPN.
He's one of those guys, though. Either you love him or you hate him. There's
Yeah.
no in between. He's kind of all right. You either love or you hate that guy. But he's built up that personality, and it works for him. It works. So, Sean Hannity, love him, hate him. Some of these other guys love him, hate him, but they built up their personality, and people love it.
I like Stephen A. Smith. I met him. I met
Did
him
you
at a
really?
Lakers game. Yeah, he was right in front of me. Actually, what happened was he was doing the reporting. So I had 4 seats at the Lakers. So I was supposed to sit there, and a big-time guy, I don't want to say his name, he came in and he said, look, him and his girl,
Mm-hmm.
Bradley Cooper. He asked me, and I said, well, if you take a picture with me, yeah, I'll sit back. So I was behind Stephen A. Smith. So he's doing the commentary with the other guy. He's an African-American guy. He's really good. He does golf. He does
Mike Tirico.
Mike Tirico.
Yeah, Mike Tirico.
It was Stephen A. and Mike Tirico.
Mike Tirico's good. I like Mike Tirico.
Yeah, and he came up to me after, and he goes, I really appreciate what you did, because I guess he was in cahoots with, Cooper.
Yeah.
But he was cool as shit, and I asked him what his prediction was on Kobe at the time, and he was like, well, because at that game it was the Oklahoma City Thunder. Remember that game?
Maybe.
With James Harden, okay, and Kobe.
Durant was on there probably.
Durant was on there, right?
That's good.
And Rob Artest, or he changed his name.
Ron Artest, Meta World Peace.
Meta World Peace, right? he like gave an elbow, or he did something.
He always.
Yeah, but he got thrown out.
Sure.
And then they're down by 12, right? With 2 minutes left in the game, and Kobe just goes crazy. This is before the Achilles.
Just
took over. I've never seen anything like it.
Him and Jordan, man, they're the only 2 guys I think that can do
I
it.
completely agree with you. He just
Take
went
over.
nuts. And when you're on that floor seat, right, you can hear them. He's like, give me, and he's swearing. He's like, give me the fucking ball.
Yep.
Pass me the fucking ball. And he'd hit it, and now he's shooting from 3 feet beyond the 3-point range, and he's got that
incredible.
angry mode. And I've seen him so many times, but at the end of the game, he would get so or motivated or angry or whatever it may be. I mean, the guy, and then you look at, I would go on my phone, I'm like, how many minutes has he played? Well, there's 12-minute games, so there's 48 minutes in the game, right?
47.30.
Right,
Yeah,
and he's at like 43 right now. He's at like 2 breaks, and this guy's going ham, and he's hitting everything, and then he's taking it, and he's going up, and at this time he was, it was right before the Achilles, and he's trying to dunk on these monsters.
Yeah,
and he doesn't care, and he was making it, and long story short, he beat him.
He was incredible. I mean, and that was one other thing. Going back to the news days when I first started out, I had internships, right? Call them. So I had an internship through Temple, and I got to go to a Sixers game, and I got to go back into the locker room after when they're interviewing the players. And as a young 20-year-old, 21-year-old, it was awesome. And there's Allen Iverson, AI. Guy's a beep in real life. But when I got to see him up hand, and he had some crazy press conferences, you can remember the practice. We're talking about practice here. Practice?
Yeah,
practice.
His argument because he missed the practice. Yeah, they were killing him.
Watching that guy in the court, another guy that just could take over sometimes. But, it was interesting to watch the interview and the styles of reporters. Because there is a style behind trying to get somebody to talk to you.
Yeah.
If you come off too hard, some guys are just going to say, F you, I ain't talking to you at all. And other guys would wean their way into questions. So it's a style, but I would just remember that. You're talking about basketball, but just going and being in the locker room and
Iverson
seeing
was a
it.
beast.
Yeah, amazing.
I met him at Blue Martini in Philly.
Yeah.
And then I met him at this other club with my boy Lucas.
He used
Shout
to
out to Lucas.
He used to always hang out at the one hotel there on City Ave. I can't remember the name of the hotel, but he'd always be there. Iverson would always be at the hotel on City Ave, right by St. Joe's.
Not.
There's a hotel right around there. I can't remember it, but he'd always be hanging out there.
Yeah. No, but you know what his problem was? He bet like crazy. He had a really bad betting problem.
Yeah.
But he was cool as hell.
Yeah.
Nice as hell. And the guy didn't even. He just had that.
He's like 6 foot nothing. I mean, he's like nothing to him.
But you know what though? He had that coach from Georgetown.
Oh, John Thompson. John Thompson, I think it was.
The African American.
Yeah, he passed away. His kid's a coach now. I think at George. Oh no, Patrick Ewing's at Georgetown now, but his kid.
Yeah, that's right.
John Thompson Jr.
Yeah, John Thompson Jr. Yeah.
Yep.
I think John Thompson.
Yeah, was his coach.
Was his
Iverson.
coach.
Yep.
And kept him together.
Yep.
And then he got to the NBA, and the money kind of fucked him up.
Sure.
And, you know, but he would. If he would have been, I almost thought. I was in Puerto Rico at what the fuck? Where the fuck was I in Puerto Rico? Valparaiso.
Okay.
Am I saying that right?
No.
Mexico.
Okay.
Valparaiso.
Vaya.
Gary, what am I saying wrong?
You know, Mexico?
Yeah.
Vaya.
I know what you're talking about, I don't know.
Valparaiso, whatever it is,
Sure.
right?
Okay.
And I'm there, and I'm seeing we're walking down the street, and they're like cutting off chicken's head in front of you and cooking them and shit.
Yeah.
But the Lakers game was on, and it was the Sixers, and and I'll tell you what, I mean,
that first game, that's when he stepped over Tyronn Lue and just dominating. You're like, man, the Sixers are going to beat the Lakers, and then.
Yeah, they were down, 0-2, right?
I think so. It was one or two. They said games the Sixers
or it was 2-1.
Sixers went ahead. I think they won the first game.
They went ahead, and then they won. I think they were down 2-1. But the Lakers had Phil Jackson. Shaq. And then Kobe just went nuts. Yeah. And you know what's funny is that when you watch it live, Shaq would be calling for the ball, and you could hear him say it. Work harder. Work harder. If you want the ball, work harder. Because he wanted them to box him out.
Sure.
So Shaq wouldn't work harder at first. So Kobe wouldn't give him the ball. He's like, fuck it. I'll just do it.
That's funny.
Because you can hear it when you're there.
Sure,
you know
when you're courtside, yeah.
He's like, work hard. I mean, he's screaming at him. Like, he's not afraid of a 7-foot guy.
Have you ever seen Shaq in person? I'm sure.
I've never met him, but I've seen him like
I'll have to find
one line across from me. He's fucking huge.
I'll have to find a picture.
He wears a 17 size shoe.
I'm gonna find the picture. And I'm gonna text it to you. I was young. I don't know how old I was. My buddy was always what do you want to call him? The rascal? I don't know. We went to a Sixers game, and his dad. We had courtside seats, That was the doctor. Got great seats for the Sixers game. They're playing. I think Shaq was on the Lakers. I don't remember what team he was on. I think it was the Lakers. There was a Lexus Club, it was called, down on Courtside in Philadelphia. The Lexus Club. Everybody
they
went
still
down.
have it, yeah.
So we would
Yeah.
go there because we had Courtside. My buddy's like, let's sneak around the back when the game's over. I know where they park the players' buses, and maybe we can get a picture with some of the guys. I'm like, you're nuts. Security's going to catch us. We're not doing it. He's like, dude, just listen to me. Just follow me. So we go around. I follow him. I'm nervous as hell. We get around the back. There's the team buses. So we're just hanging out. All of a sudden, security sees us. Well, out walk Shaq. It's cold. He's wearing a big mink coat. I mean, big mink coat. Guy's huge. Security starts yelling at us. We're getting ready to get the hell out of there. And Shaq goes, hold on. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Comes over and actually shakes our hands, which my hand disappeared because his hand's so big, and took a picture with us. I'll find that picture. I'm going to text it to you. It was amazing.
You got to send
it. It was awesome.
Yeah.
It was awesome. But,
Yeah, but to see him talk shit to him,
yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yes.
And they got in like 3 or 4 fights, and then Shaq went and talked shit about his wife and what he did, and
It's amazing.
I mean, Kobe went fucking ham on him. But I think if they would have stayed together,
yeah.
they probably would have won 2 more.
And now you're hearing the stuff about Jordan and Pippen. They're falling out in paradise there, I guess, now. I don't know. Just these guys.
Well, because I think Pippen's jealous that it wasn't. I mean, could Jordan have won it without Pippen? Maybe so, maybe no.
You know,
But he had Phil Jackson, and that guy's a beast. I mean, he fucked up running the Knicks, but
hey,
as a coach,
yeah.
though, I mean, what can you say about Phil
the
Jackson?
Zen master, man. The Zen master.
Yeah, I mean, he was unbelievable. And when you see him in person, you know, like most coaches, when you're watching a game,
Yeah.
and something's going wrong, they call a timeout. His theory was they have to live through that, right? So when there's a problem,
He just
I'm not calling timeout.
he lets them figure it out.
You figure it out. If you don't
Yeah.
figure it out, okay, we lose. Well, next time we're gonna watch the tape and figure it out. You know what I mean?
It's actually yeah.
And that was his theory. And if you watch, like when he was with the Bulls and the Lakers,
yeah.
every other coach would have called a timeout at these times.
Yeah, when they start going on runs, when the other team's going on a
Yep.
run, the crowd's
and he didn't
into it.
stand up. He sat in his chair and he just had that look, like
He's successful. He
get it
won.
together.
He won.
Yeah, he's got what, 10 rings,
Got a
9
lot.
rings,
Yeah, he got a lot. 6 with the Bulls and
3
3 or 4 with the
three with the Lakers.
So
yeah.
9.
No, he's got 4 with the Lakers.
And then he won. Didn't he win when he was a player? Like back with the Knicks
Yeah,
years
with
ago?
but he was with the CBA, I think, at the time.
Oh.
Yeah, but then he went to the Knicks.
He's got his
yeah.
whole hand filled up with rings.
Yeah, man, he's a beast. And he's married to the
Owner?
the daughter of the ex-owner of the Lakers. Yeah,
Not a bad life.
not a bad life. No, I wish he would coach again. But he needs like the right format for him to do that.
You know,
what I mean?
it's
he
hard.
knows when to get into and what not to get into. And Jeannie Buss,
That's it.
that's who
Yep.
he's with. Well, when her dad died, everything changed because they brought in this other guy, and
Mhm.
they just, for whatever reason, they want to fill out.
Something happened.
Well, because the older Buss wanted the power. He
Sure.
wanted to be in control of everything. So now, if you bring a Phil Jackson in, nobody cares about who you are.
Sure.
You got Phil Jackson. He's winning championships left and right.
Sure.
You know what
Who's
I mean?
not going to listen to him, right?
Right. But the guy that it was passed on to, I forget his name, but it was Buss, not the old Buss. Old man Buss,
Yeah.
he would have signed Phil for fucking 10 years.
Forever.
You know what I mean?
It'd be interesting to see. We talked about it earlier before we were on here about just like work ethic and stuff like that. I don't know with the newer generation of basketball player. Not that Phil is not a great coach. Can he get into these guys' heads? Because these young players don't want to listen anymore. They don't want to. They want to do their own thing. They want to shoot the ball whenever they want to shoot. They don't. I don't know. It's a hard thing to say. I don't know if he's past his time and not because he's not a good coach, but with the new generation of player.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think that what Phil would do, in my opinion, just from watching the Bulls all the years and then the Lakers,
Yeah.
I think if they didn't come into practice and do the Zen
Yep.
and sit down and he, lights a little
Yes.
thing.
Yeah. Incense.
And there's smoke coming out, incense,
Yeah.
and do all that, I think he'd just get rid of them, no matter how good that they were.
It's interesting. It's
But I think that if he didn't see the right lineup, he wouldn't do it. And I thought that, remember Dwight Howard?
mm-hmm.
That was supposed to be the bomb. I mean, you got Kobe, you got Dwight Howard. I forget who else they had. There's somebody else that was a monster. But Dwight Howard just didn't come to the table. And Kobe used to scream at him.
Yeah.
He wouldn't even give him the ball. Like, you think he was mean to Shaq.
Yeah, but not, but it's funny. These players, they don't want to listen to what is it called? What's the word I'm looking for here? Constructive criticism.
Yeah.
They get offended by it.
Right.
It's to make you better. I don't want to hear it. It's a good thing to have constructive criticism.
Yeah, no, there's a whole thing on it that him and Dwight Howard and Kobe got all into it. Because Kobe was like, look, I'm here practicing.
Sure.
You can't hit a 3-throw if I have a gun to your head. Okay, so sit here and practice the fucking 3-throws, right? You're
Yeah.
9 foot tall,
Yeah.
Work, run, get in shape.
Yep.
And he didn't want to do it, and then they had confrontation because Kobe won't accept it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, that's just how it was. That's why Shannon, he's a really good player. Shannon something with the Lakers. Kobe made sure that Shannon was always signed because he worked
his
he
tail
came off the bench, but he worked his ass off.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And some guys will do it, and then Kobe's the first one in, the last one out. I mean, he's the best player for a reason, and he's there in first and out last.
I think it's Jordan and Kobe, and I think the closest thing to Jordan is Kobe.
Yeah, I agree.
Because LeBron's good, and he's like, he's like a genetic freak.
He is. He's huge.
But he doesn't have the mental killer that Jordan had.
Yeah, Jordan got the ball. Kobe got the ball. It's over. You knew they were taking the shot. You could quadruple team them. And
you could be down 50, and he's going to take the shot. You know what I mean? And LeBron seems to have a problem with 3 throws at the end. He seems to not be so good. And he always passes at the last shot.
I was just going to say it. You took it out of my mouth. Kobe, he's taking it. Jordan, he's taking it. And he's going to make it, too.
Yeah.
If you miss him, but he's going to make him make it. LeBron, you're like, man, here he goes. He's going to take it. He's going to drive right to the basket. He's going to overpower him. He's going to do it. He'll drive to the basket. It looks like he's going to go off, and he'll pass it out, which, hey, Sharon passing to teammates, I get it. But take it, man. You're the guy. Passes it out.
I get the pass to Ray Allen. Remember when he passed to Ray Allen?
Yeah, that was.
I get that one.
Sure.
But the other ones during the regular season and some other times, I just.
Yeah.
I think he needs to. I don't know, go to therapy or something and get a little bit stronger because he has all the potential, but he's I don't know. He just doesn't have that. They call Kobe the Black Mamba for a reason.
Yep.
Because that last 3 minutes, if you're down 20-10, you don't want to fuck with him.
Nope.
They tripled. Look at if anybody's watching this, look at the Oklahoma City game when Ron Artest, Metta World Peace, goes after James Harden. He gets thrown out. There's 3 minutes left. They're down by 9. Kobe doesn't give a fuck. He's almost shooting threes from halfway court. Misses one, doesn't care.
Yep.
He's running back on defense, gets the ball, shoots another one. Guess what? He hits it.
Mm-hmm.
Now he's got some confidence. But you can see he's just a maniac.
Mm-hmm.
And he's going to the crowd in L.A., he's like, come on. And he's getting the feedback. And now he's driving in on these guys.
So he never gets tired. How do you not get tired?
I think it's adrenaline, though, and drive. He's from Italy. He grew up in Italy.
Yeah.
And he's not the type of guy that gives up. That's why I like him so much, But then he got the fucking Achilles, which was bullshit, which I blame on Mike D'Antoni.
Mm-hmm.
Because they shouldn't have played him. He already had an ankle issue.
And they always say that, right? You have an ankle issue like that, and that's the easiest way to rupture that Achilles tendon, right?
Right, because what happens is it's like when you have that ankle issue as bad as he did, and, Kobe played with if you would read about what Kobe Bryant played with,
mm-hmm.
he played with 2 broken fingers in the finals against Boston when they won. 2 broken fingers.
Yeah, you got to shoot the ball with that. I mean, that's
Yeah,
crazy.
and at the time he didn't go to Germany, so his knees were, the bones were rubbing against each other,
Mm.
and he played. No drugs, he played. Now right after that he went to Germany, but you
Sure.
know what I mean. But he got through it. So I mean,
It's a different ball player, man. It's just a different. It's
but now he wants to go in. But Mike DAntoni was playing 40 minutes a game, right, to try to win or whatever, and Kobe's not going to say no.
mm-hmm.
But he had a bad ankle injury, and then that led up to the ligaments, and then he popped it. And there was no one on this planet, I
He
guarantee.
got up and he walked. He shot the free throws, right?
He walked after tearing his Achilles
He
tendon.
shot the free throws.
He got up, he walked and shot and made both of them. And then as a man, he walked back. Nobody carried him out. This is a torn Achilles, like
Yeah.
really torn.
Yeah.
And then nobody carries him back. He walks all the way back to the locker room. That's a fucking man right there.
That is. Yeah, that's a different.
But what fucked him up is he came back too quick.
Yeah.
You know, he thought that he had it, you know, because he didn't want to lose. And, you know, just that competitive nature, he just came back too quick, you know. And
I grew up. Kobe grew on me. I didn't like him in the very beginning of his career. I just thought he was arrogant, cocky, young punk. But man, watching him through the years and just seeing his work ethic and how hard he pushed himself and made his teammates better too. And it just, you know, and then a tragic, of course, accident. But it just, what a great basketball player. Just a great person. I mean, sounds like a great human being all around. When it comes to his daughters and stuff like that too. So
yeah,
sad.
and then when you think about that, like when you put it all in perspective, you know, like you think he was cocky and a dick. It's just as competitive.
Yeah.
I mean, the fucking guy was, 18 at the All-Star game?
Yeah,
And he said Michael Jordan. He said to Michael, "You can't beat me."
I remember hearing all that.
So you initially think he's like cocky, right? But he's
Yeah.
not cocky. He's
It's
just competitive.
his drive, yeah.
And him and Jordan were like best friends. If you watched did you see that when Kobe died? Jordan came on and
Yeah.
he had tears in his eyes
That's
because
right.
they were like really close friends.
Yeah.
You know, so he would go to Jordan and say, "Hey, look, how can I, make my turnaround better? How can I do this?" You know what I mean? Because Jordan respected him.
Sure.
I don't think Michael Jordan's talking to too many people.
No, I'm not giving away any secrets either. But yeah.
So now back to your thing. So
Yeah.
you do local real estate media, right?
Sure. Social media and PR and videography, like I said. So drone, great shots of some of these beautiful homes down here. Great homes sitting right on the ocean, intercoastal. You give this nice little, it's like I call it a trailer almost, right? Not a long video. 30 seconds, some are quick, but hitting all the nice parts of that house.
Now,
That
how long
view.
does that take you to do?
So, it's a few hours of shooting, depending on the size of the house. If the house is a, mansion, you want to have the sun right too. I want to have the sun on the front of the house. So let's just say it's a $5 million house, big nice mansion. I'm gonna be there a while because I want to get the sun exposure on the front of the house, nice and lit up, and then if there's a nice pool and stuff in the back, I gotta wait for the sun to come over top of the house. On that part, and then maybe I want maybe I want a sunset shot if it's a nice sunset in the backyard. Depending on the house. $5 million house, I'm gonna spend a lot of time on that house and go throughout the rooms. And then putting together the video, putting together the story, picking out the best clips, sitting down, and I call
So
it my lab.
that entire process that might come out to what, 2 minutes?
Yeah, so less 30-second video.
30
Some of them
seconds.
a
Now,
minute
how long
video.
does that actually take you to do?
Again, like if I'm there shooting all day, could be let's say it's a 5-hour shoot for a nice house. I'm not gonna get the sunset. We're just gonna get most of the thing, and then the inside of the house. So between editing and that, finding the best clips, shoot a bunch of clips. Could be a 8-hour process for a 30-second or a minute video.
You hear that, Gary?
I did.
And I am a perfectionist, which is maybe a downfall sometimes. Little things aggravate me, and I'm like, and I'll shoot a couple times, same shot that I'm just not happy with.
Now, how do you get the drones to work? Because that's huge, right? The drone is the new thing,
Yeah,
right?
right on my phone. Got it cooked up an app on my phone.
So you have a drone?
Mm-hmm. DJI.
How does that work?
So I plug it in, hit it on, got an app on my phone.
Where you can
Control it. I can see everything, so I can see it when it goes up. And it's the can't speak today. DJI Mavic Air. And there's all different size drones. They range all different prices, right? You have the cheap drones to the more expensive drones, and everything's controlled through my app on my phone.
Gary, maybe you should. It might help you in your real estate.
Well, he said trailer, and I was thinking what he was talking
Like a
video.
movie trailer, You gotta give the people a tease, right? A taste. You can't give them the whole thing, right? Yeah, you have a longer video for that you push to another outlet. So for Instagram or Facebook, I'm gonna give you a tease.
So what do you give them?
What do you mean when I give them?
What do you like? What you say you give them a tease? What do you give them as a tease?
So a tease may be a beautiful shot of the house, like a drone shot that's like flying in. That might be it. And then I'm going to push it to another medium, which I might push it to the YouTube channel. So they go to the YouTube channel and watch it on there. And then it'll live on the website, but normally it's just a quick tease for Instagram 30 seconds, maybe less than 30 seconds for Instagram. Facebook a little different, and then push it to YouTube.
So what you're doing with the mortgage, like with the drone and the video and everything, what do you think is the best avenue to market it through? Like Instagram, Facebook, Google Ads. I mean, what do you think is the best way to push it through? I know that's not quite your thing, but
here's the way I
just generally speaking.
Here's the way I look at it. Okay, Tommy, you may like Facebook, right? Maybe Gary over there is an Instagram guy. Maybe, my mom likes LinkedIn. You don't know where your buyer's coming from, right? Or who's going to be watching this, looking at this video. So I'm going to put it everywhere I can. Everywhere I can put that video to get eyes on it for people to watch. Website, YouTube, LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook. I'm getting it out there.
As long as you hit them all.
I try to hit every single one. Vimeo. I put it everywhere.
Vimeo?
Vimeo.
I haven't used Vimeo in years.
But maybe there's 1 billionaire out there who uses Vimeo.
Is that still, like, big?
I use it to just store videos on there, and I have like a Vimeo channel. But
who owns Vimeo?
That I don't know, actually. I don't know who owns Vimeo. No.
Okay, so that you do the videos, you do the bio video, and then when you say PR.
So marketing the real estate company with news connections that I have through my years working in the news. So, maybe there's a story that I think of with, homes are selling so fast in South Florida right now. And there's no inventory because people are just buying up these homes like crazy down here. The real estate market's been on fire in South Florida. So finding a kick that a news to get a news coverage on the real estate.
Now,
company.
why do you think that is? I mean, Gary said this too. Jesse said this as well. How in the hell is the market so crazy right now? I would think it would be the other way.
I don't sell real estate.
But I'm not in that.
And I don't sell real estate, so this might not be the right person to answer that question. But I just think that we live in paradise. Right? And we're surrounded, our county alone, and South Florida is just surrounded by money. I mean, it's a lot of wealthy people down here. So I would think, and Gary, maybe I'm wrong, correct me if I'm wrong, that if everything were to hit the shitter and everything go under, South Florida would be one of the last places that would go under?
Probably.
Right?
Yeah, but it's
I mean, Gary, why do you think it's just taking off right now?
we talked about it, politics. You go up into New York City, you pay 3 taxes.
Yeah.
You go into Connecticut, you pay 3 taxes. Realize that Musk and Oracle just moved to Texas. What'd you think they moved there for? The cactus?
Yeah.
the taxes.
Yeah.
How about you guys are talking about the sports teams, right? If you're making $40 million a year, you want to play for a California team or a Florida team? We may suck, but you're going to make another $10 million a year.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, yeah, because there's no taxes there, yeah.
Right?
Yeah, so it becomes a object of property where you want to be because you're not going to get killed.
Well, and now too, I guess you have. I read the other day Goldman Sachs is talking about moving right to
Correct.
Florida.
They're shopping in Fort Lauderdale.
So
Goldman Sachs is talking about moving to Fort Lauderdale?
Hopefully they leave their politics in New York.
yeah, they're talking about moving down here. But
What do you think the chances of that are?
The politics or them moving here?
Well, the politics.
0, but moving here, they're going to be here. Well, Carl Icahn last year moved his whole shop to Miami. He's a multi-billionaire.
Who's Carl Icahn?
Carl Icahn is one of the big predatory. I mean, he'll buy a big position in a company, 25, 30, 40, 50%. And then he'll go in and try to get on the board, and he'll try to make changes to the board.
Mhm.
But that's a $5 billion business, and he went to Miami.
Jesus.
So yeah, I mean it's crazy, but people, I guess the taxes and the cold weather, you get tired of it after a while. I mean,
Well,
it's due.
and then the interest rates.
Yeah,
So you sell a home up. Well, it used to be you'd sell a home up in Cherry Hills, New Jersey, for $800,000. You could come down here and get something for $3.
yeah.
Well, guess what? It's just
Yeah.
like any other arbitrage. Our prices are way up now, but still, you get to live here.
Maybe I should
we
get my
all,
license too. A real
Yeah.
estate license.
we all live here. Where are you all from?
Yeah.
Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
What'd you say?
He,
Temple.
he's
So-
from no, he's from PA
Pennsylvania.
too.
Yeah.
He's from Scranton.
Yeah.
Pennsylvania, Jersey, all those places. Yeah.
No.
Lifestyle.
That's why we're alike.
Yeah. yes,
know,
it is.
lifestyle.
Yep.
Okay, so you also do studio setup.
Studio
obviously.
setup.
You did all this.
Looks good. You folks out there can't see it, but it is. Tommy's got a lot to do with this. He did a great job. I helped him set this up, but it's awesome. I mean, for the space that we have to work with, no one would know that. Shh, don't tell them. It's not. But that's what it is. You people at home don't have to see that part, and they see this, and this is what it is. Even in the TV, you don't see what goes on. Small little spaces.
Like when you're doing like Fox News
Sure.
or NBC, like you don't see what's really there.
Sure.
You just see what you see on the picture, but you don't know what's all
Correct.
fucking behind it, right?
Correct. There could be crap laying all over the floor in the right hand corner, but it doesn't matter because that's not making it on air. You're not seeing that. Green screens. You watch the weather, right?
Yeah.
Weatherman points to this map. He's not standing in front of a physical map. He's standing in front of a wall that's green.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you this. And I
Yeah.
think he'll like this too.
Go ahead.
So when Bill Hammer,
Bill Hammer.
he's on Fox.
Okay.
Nothing against gay people, no
Mhm.
problem. Do you know that he's gay?
No
No.
idea.
Yeah, but I never knew it.
Yeah.
But he's cool as shit. I like the way he reports.
Yeah.
So that screen behind him is a green screen when
It-
he's tapping on it.
Well, there's a touch screen. That's different. There's touch screen, so you'll know a touch screen. It could be a screen like we have here, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I would physically go up and touch it. But a weatherman, when you're seeing him and he's watching, he's pointing over, he's like this, and he's like, and there's a low coming here, and this is coming here. He's standing in front of a green screen.
But how does he know where to pick? though?
Because, you know why? No one knows this unless you've worked in TV or you've been to a studio to see it. They're standing in front of the screen. When they turn their body this way, there's a monitor there with the map on that's already keyed in behind them. It's called keyed. So it's keyed in behind the green screen. So they're physically standing in front of what you're seeing on TV, and they're just looking at it. So now they can point, and they can say, and they can see where their hand is. But you can't see that their eyes are going that way. So they're like, over here, there's a high. That's how they do it.
Wow, that's a lot of
It's cool.
like hand-eye coordination, right? Because you
Yeah.
have to look at that, then you're looking at a screen that really isn't even there.
But it's right. But the way that it's positioned, it's right where they're looking, so they don't really have to do too much. But yeah, I guess there's still a little hand-eye coordination that goes
yeah,
along
still
with
gotta
it.
be a little
Sure,
hard, right?
Sure.
I mean, no,
Yeah.
like Dominic could do it.
sure. But yeah,
Yeah. I always wonder about the weather people. Yeah.
green screen.
Did you ever deal with the weather people?
Yeah, they're cool. You know, they're always 50% right, 50% wrong,
20%, right?
20% right. Get paid pretty good. You know, we always make jokes about that, but
Yeah.
they're good.
Now, what did you think when I had you come in here and we spent hours and hours on the Blackmagic? What is it called? I don't even want to remember the name of it. 'Cause it's been
ATEM
yeah.
Television Studio HD.
So now, in your opinion, if somebody's trying to set up a podcast where they don't have to edit and do Final Cut and do all this,
Sure.
what is the biggest headache that you had with that when you were setting it up for me? And by the way, thank you.
Yeah, no, as you remember, we were able to get the camera angles to show up on the monitor, which was awesome. We're like, oh, look at this. That doesn't matter. We needed it to get through the system into our recording system, and we had that one wire, Tommy. You remember the night? You remember that night?
Oh, I remember that night, yeah.
We needed one wire.
That looked exactly the same as the other wire.
It was a fire wire.
Yeah.
Or
Thunderbolt.
Thunderbolt.
Yeah.
And we had it. Basically, what we were doing was we were putting it through, and we weren't getting enough power. Remember, the guy had said the one end to the other end wasn't putting enough power to get it through. It was just a nightmare. It was just It's not supposed to be that hard. So ATEM, Blackmagic Studio HD. If you're watching, please make it a little more easier. I mean, it was nuts.
And no power cord.
Oh, yes.
And that was from BH Audio.
That is right.
It wasn't like it was from like Amazon. This was from BH Audio.
So you
they're
paid
the
how
best
much?
of the
How
best.
much? How much was that?
1,200, something like that.
$1,200, no power cord.
No power cord.
How do you not give a power cord when you spend $1,200?
You tell me. You've been in this business.
I mean,
how the hell do I know?
You would think you'd have a power cord that would come with it, and we luckily you had one here that fit it.
Right. So I had to. If anybody's still watching,
Yeah,
it's funny because Matt always says this shit. He's rubbing off for me, which is not good. We had to actually take a printer cable.
Yep.
And put it into this to make it work. And then the whole headache was the DSL connection.
Yep, we had the DSL connection. We've spent
60
God, I
hours.
feel like I lived here for a while.
I think 60 hours
Yeah,
on this thing.
it was a lot. But at the end of the day,
What's the deal with the DSL connection? Why in the hell does it need that?
Because it's controlling it through. What's the easiest way to say this? It's giving a signal that's getting it through to the laptop to switch it, I guess, is almost basically what it's doing. So you can get the switcher. So I can get, you can technically just touch that switcher and there's buttons I can switch, but you'd have to do that manually and have it sitting here and I could just push the buttons on that thing. But we wanted to do it through the app, the ATM app, which makes it much easier, and then it's able to record to the recording software that we're using.
And then when you get the
ATEM.
Yeah.
Whatever.
You know, because I don't even look at it, so I don't break it.
Yeah.
Then there's OBS, right?
OBS.
And what's OBS?
So OBS is a thing that people use to stream normally to. Gamers use it for Twitch and things like that, or you could use it to record. So what we're doing is we're recording. If Gary hits it right now, he can switch camera angles, right, through the ATM, and that's being recorded. So it's much easier in our end process instead of editing shot. It's already on one nice clip for us. So if you guys are thinking about setting up a podcast and want to do it like this, it's very simple. I gave away a secret. I'm sorry. Maybe it's not a secret actually, but
Hire Rob.
But it's much easier. Yeah, hire me. No, I'll be.
Believe me, you're not going to figure it out. I mean, I don't care who's in there. I mean, I've worked with switchboards in the past. Simple, easy. This just took forever to just get it set up. Once it's set up, click, 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 click. Good. To get it to that point, holy shit. I mean, and how many updates did you have to do? Too?
Yeah, we did. I think I did 3 or 4, maybe more.
I think you did 17.
There's a lot of updates. Yeah, there's a lot of updates.
I looked on it. It was like 15, 16, 17.
It was
updates.
A lot of updates.
That's
it gave me a couple of gray hairs. But no,
I got some too.
At the end of the day, it worked out, and here we are. And you're always going to have challenges along the way, and just figure out a way to get through it, man. Keep grinding. Do it.
Yeah, you just can't give up. You got to keep fighting.
You got to do it. And if you can't do it, you got to just keep figuring a way. Don't. I was close to throw the white towel, but I'm like, I'm not doing it. I told you that night. You're like,
I know.
I said, I'm coming back. coming back with the cord. We're doing it.
And I
We're
want to
doing
say
it.
this about Rob because it's very important. I said to him, I said, look, man, you worked at Fox, you worked at NBC. We've been here 40 hours. This thing still isn't done. He was here at 8 o'clock in the morning, 8:30 a.m., and he got it done.
Not giving up, man.
I mean, that says a lot about somebody to me.
I appreciate that. Just not giving up. You gotta drag me out.
Yeah.
you gotta drag me out. And it
But
worked.
even then, I don't think you would give up.
No, it's just
Because it would drive you nuts, right? For you to leave, forget about the money, right?
Mhm.
For you to leave something that somebody depended on you to do, I think it would drive you nuts to walk away from it and not have it done.
it would. It comes from my back. I mean, just my dad. That's what my dad. It's always instilled in me. Work hard and get the job done.
It always comes from the father who
It is.
beats your fucking ass,
Yep.
who's the asshole, who you hate for 18 years,
Yep.
and then at 21, 25, you look back, or your grandfather or whatever, and you say, you know what? This is what made me the guy that I am now.
It's how you're raised. I mean, my dad's dad was a coal miner. That's what they were back in northeast Pennsylvania. They were coal miners. Those guys worked their butts off, balls off,
And breathing
terrible
shit.
air.
Yeah.
But it was a hard day's work, early, put the hours in, get a job done, and you're getting paid for it. You're doing a job and you're getting paid for it, so do the job. If you're getting money, do the job. Get it done. You're getting paid for it, so do it. And figure out a way. And yes,
But what I noticed about you and Gary is that money's great, right? But
Sure.
the worst thing in the world is disappointment to guys like me, you and Gary,
Mhm.
and very few other people, because you don't want to ever disappoint, and it's tough to guys like us. It's tough to live with yourself when you disappoint somebody. You know what I mean? Because you're here to do a job, you don't finish it. If you can go to bed at night and you're not pissed off that you didn't finish it, I think there's something wrong with you.
Ask my wife the night when I went home when we could not figure out that issue, and I was pissed. I don't think I slept. She rolled over at 3:30 in the morning, and I'm on my phone, not on Facebook, I'm on YouTube. I'm Googling things. The internet's a great source. You could always find stuff on there. Just trying to figure it out. Just trying anything. But yeah, it did. It ate me up a little bit, which, I think sometimes my OCD and everything runs through my head at night, different things, but it's.
But again, me and you always talk about, me and Gary always talk about,
Yeah.
there's winners and losers.
Yeah, you say
And
it.
winners either get it done,
I like that too when you say
or losers don't. And then they say, well, I did everything I could and I walked away. Well, if you can live with yourself like that, you got a fucking problem, because you're not going to make it in this world, especially now.
Yep.
If things go the way that they look,
Mm-hmm.
and you're willing to give up, you're fucked.
And I like when you said that. 'Cause
Good luck.
I like that. There's only winners and losers. There's no in
I've been
between.
saying this to Gary for 5 years.
There's no in
Gary, how
between.
long have I been saying it to you for?
6 years.
6 years?
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, there's no in between. You either win or you lose.
Yeah, I think the first time I met him, we sat down, we talked. He was a cool guy. He was, wanted me to eat his pizza and some funny things like that. And then we watched part of Donnie Brasco.
Mm-hmm.
And then he saw it, and, he was Wall Street Gary, blah, blah, blah. And then we started talking about Machiavelli the Prince, which I'm telling you to read.
I just ordered
Right.
it, Tommy.
Don't you think you should read Machiavelli the Prince?
I just ordered it.
I've seen several references. I read everything political going on because you're looking at one of the greatest historical events in United States history. What's going on right now? And you should see the references to Machiavelli. Nuts.
I
told
just
you,
ordered
Rob.
it, so I'm gonna.
He just ordered right before he came in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nicolaus Machiavelli. And it all pertains to what's going on.
Yeah.
And if you read it, and you read it carefully, and you have to go back to chapter, you have to read it
Sure.
over and over again, because it's hard to comprehend everything at once.
Yeah. Yeah.
But once you read that, if you apply that to business,
Yeah.
I guarantee the business goes up 20%, even in this pandemic, epidemic, whatever the fuck you want to call it, which
Yeah.
I really don't think it's an epidemic. I think it's just a bad flu.
Yeah.
I think we're all going to get it. I think all of us. I
Yeah.
think he's going to get it. I think you're going to get it. I think I'm going to get it. I'm just waiting to get it,
Sure.
pretty much.
Sure.
And it's just a matter of, do you have the tools to, at this point, to beat it? But
Yeah.
I think we're all going to get it.
Sure. Yeah.
I mean, it's everywhere.
Yeah.
You know, and you can't, we got the temperature thing here. I got swabs. I got 1,000 swabs. I was going to swab everybody, but
Yeah.
the fuck? I mean, if they got a temperature, they're hit.
Yeah.
They're out the fucking door. If they don't have a temperature, it's unlikely that they have it, but they could have.
Yeah.
They could have the antibody,
Sure. That they had it already.
which
or
could
they-
give to me or you or him or somebody else.
And it's such in the infant stages, even still. I know it's been here for however many months we're talking about, but it's a new thing. We don't know everything about it, right? We don't know. I mean, it's I don't know. It's a lot of.
Yeah, I mean, it's such a weird thing at a weird time.
It is, but
And
you know
it's
what?
very interesting that this happened at this particular
Good time.
point in time.
Very interesting.
I think you would agree with that.
Very
but-
interesting, but
Okay, so you use social media a lot, right?
Sure.
To promote your thing. Okay. Like I know you touched on this before, but if I hire you, okay, and I have a limited budget, what would you go to first? Would you go to Facebook, Instagram, Google Ads? If I have a limited budget, but I'm willing to pay for you to fly your drone and do
To do
whatever else.
to do a video, what I do is I normally come up with like a little package, right? And I work with people. I get it. I work with people. I'm not here to screw anybody over and take your money and run, and because what benefit does that do me? Nothing. People talk. Things get out there. So I would never do that. But come up with little packages. Package for this, a package for this, a package for this. Well, that's a little. I can so work with them. But right now, the way people are searching and the way things are happening, at least from my experience and what I'm seeing, is Facebook is still a big tool for age groups, certain age groups. The younger generation, when I say younger generation, I'm 35, have moved to Instagram, right? But parents follow along in their kids' social media habits. It's weird. Even my mom just got Instagram. My mom's 70. How old is my mom? 73 or 74. Instagram. So Instagram she has, and it goes on to where they feel comfortable searching. But I would say Facebook and Instagram are the two that I use the most when I promote it, and push to, and YouTube, of course. I push to the YouTube channel from Instagram and Facebook.
It seems like Instagram is really taking over things.
Yeah.
Well,
they're owned by Facebook too.
Yeah, I know.
So
it's WhatsApp. So do you know that LinkedIn is owned by Facebook?
That I did not.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, it is. It's an umbrella company.
So Facebook basically.
So
controls the world.
Facebook, and then they have cahoots with Google. It's a whole fucking thing.
Sure.
Yeah.
Twitter's more the newsy type thing. And you know what? I do post things to Twitter through there, but that's more of the newsy style-esque thing. But again, people are on all different platforms. Some people on the same, some people there. Just push it out there. That $1 million buyer may be on LinkedIn. Maybe he's on Facebook. Maybe he's on Twitter. I don't know.
What do you think about Reddit?
I haven't used it as much. I know I've heard good success stories about Reddit, but just I don't know if it was just not past my time, but just something I never really delved into. You used it for a few.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, it's
And what have you seen from it?
A massive increase.
Yeah.
I would put Reddit above Facebook, Instagram. I put it above everyone, but it's not an easy thing to figure out. It's very complicated. And then when you post something, there's like really strict guidelines, and you have to be careful. Like, so you can make like Robert Moore, right?
Yep.
And you'll be /Robert Moore.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now you can post whatever you want, but you don't want that. You want R, which is weird, but
More.
I guess Reddit.
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
R/Robert Moore. And then you make your own page, and then people can post on it. So, but you need like all these.
You have to get to
points.
a certain point. Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like views,
Yeah.
like on YouTube.
Yeah.
You have to get to a certain point of karma. And then once you get to that, then you can do r/Robert Moore.
It's like Instagram. You get to that 10K plus, you become an influencer, and you get to do more different. They give you more,
Yeah.
right? They give you more.
But if you can get to that level,
Yeah.
I would say, in my opinion, and
Yeah.
not that I know everything, I'm just saying that in my opinion, Reddit is probably
Yeah.
beats the piss out of all of them. Out of all of them. Now, it takes time, though, because you have to get the karma.
Sure.
They're going to catch you cheating. I don't know who beat them or who the umbrella company is, but there's somebody behind them, okay?
Yeah.
But once you get to that point where you have, like, Robert Moore,
Yeah.
and then you wait, 2-3 months, and you just let things build up, it will, I would bet you money, it would double your income. I'm that positive about it. I've seen it happen too many times.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, and then
But you have to have the patience to deal with it because it's not easy. Because you want to put something in one form and another form, and there's all these fucking restrictions and all this other shit. But it's a pain in the ass. But if you put your mind to it and you say, "Look, I'm gonna figure this out," you know what I mean? You will. Now, I've gotten to the point where I'm R/MCS media, right? But nobody gives a fuck right now because I just got there.
Sure.
But now in 3 months from now,
Then
the ball game changes. And I know this because I've been through Reddit multiple times. And once it hits, then you find a backer. Okay, so you find a moderator that will back you. So in other words, that moderator will post something on, let's just say, this video or a video with Gary and say, "Hey, look, that was a great video." Now everybody's looking what he's saying is good. Now all of a sudden everything changes.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Maybe it takes 6 months, but whenever it hits,
That's it.
your bank account's gonna change real quick.
Yeah. Well, I guess it goes anything. You get that backer. It's like with Twitter. If Tommy posts this video and gets it on Twitter and it gets retweeted by Donald Trump,
We win.
game over.
Game over.
Right?
Yeah.
Game over.
But you know what I didn't realize is how good LinkedIn was. I hated LinkedIn.
Yeah.
I hated it. And then I started messing with it, and I started looking at the analytics, and it's actually pretty damn good.
I call it the professional Facebook. I know that sounds weird, but I call it the professional Facebook because you especially with real estate, you're selling multi-million-dollar homes, maybe, right? And it's business people on LinkedIn. It's not somebody on there to talk about their kid, which is great. Facebook's great for that. You can post a picture of your kid eating birthday cake and stuff like that. But on LinkedIn, it's more business professional. People with more money, not everyone. You know what I'm saying? But you post those homes on there, you have a better chance of attracting a person with, more of an income to afford some of those homes that you have.
Yeah, I was shocked because I hated it because I thought it was like too, I don't know, weird, boring, whatever you want to call it. But then I started messing around with it, and like you said, it's all like top-notch guys. So like somebody like in your industry or his industry, I mean, it's a monster. But I think you have to have the combination, all of them.
I'm a firm believer. I'm telling you, I just think you got to market yourself all over the place, and some's going to stick, and some things, and some's not going to stick. But you got to put it out there either way. And if you're doing it in real estate, you have your client, right? Not my client. It's technically my client, but not my client because I'm not the one selling the home, but I'm helping them sell the home. So listen, we're going to get it. Wherever we can get that home, eyes on it, we're doing it. YouTube, Facebook, Instagram.
So what do you think is the best? Like if you're a real estate agent, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like Gary over here.
Mm-hmm.
Well, hopefully he's doing a good job. Just fuck with him. I can't not let him go without fucking with him. But if you were dealing with him, where would you tell him to try to promote what he's trying to do?
So if
he does like what is it called? REO, real estate, whatever. Where would you tell him to put his money and time into as far as social media?
like I said, I push a lot of things from Facebook and Instagram short. I call them teases, and I push it to YouTube. And then what I do is I push it to a website. So I put the links in there to, I won't say the name of the company again, but the real estate company's website.
Okay,
So
for
I
example.
pushed them to get traffic onto that website.
Okay, for example, he's Gary. Gary works for you.
Yep.
Okay, so we're promoting Gary works for you.
Mm-hmm.
He comes, he hires you.
Mm-hmm.
How are you going to make him better?
So I'm going to put together some kick-ass videos for Gary. Kick-ass videos. And it's about engagement, and it's about getting people to see it and getting the views. And I'm going to give him the teaser, and I'm going to push it to, does Gary have a website? If Gary has a website, I want to get traffic on that website, because once you get the customer or the client or your potential customer, that's when you can get some information from them, right? They click on something, now they have to, maybe to see more, put their email address in there, right? And that's valuable. We get their email address, and now we can see their searching habits. I don't want to give away too many secrets from what I know.
Yeah, don't say too much.
And I don't know all the back stuff, but
yeah,
in that aspect, when it goes beyond that point, that's out of my league when it goes beyond that point. But to get them there, to get that information, you want to get that clientele base. You want to get those people that are getting to that site.
So what you do is you get the person to that site, and then you let the marketing guy handle it from there.
And then I let them reel it in. I mean,
like with the fishing line type of thing, right?
Reel them in, but you got to get them there. And you got to, everything's about, if you don't get somebody's attention, I think they said it's the average, I think goldfish have a higher attention span than a human being nowadays.
Who's goldfish? Like goldfish that swim in
like a goldfish.
Oh, like the
they have
orange thing?
Yes, have a better attention span than a human being. Because if you see people's habits nowadays, all they do is just scroll, right? You're on your phone. Scroll. Then you see something that catches your eye and you stop. That's what I want. I want you to stop. And once you stop, I got you. Because at least you gave me the stop instead of just boring. Whoa, what was that? Whoa, cool. And you do it, right? Sometimes you're scrolling, then it catches you, and you slide back down. Slide back down's perfect. I got you. Now they're interested. Now they're watching. Now they, even if the video's 20, you don't want this long video. You want, and then wow, my God, where can I check out this house? Oh, www. Oh, YouTube. Boom, boom, boom. Got them.
So you use all these platforms, and then you direct them to YouTube, like your drone type thing?
Well, the drone's part of the videos.
Oh, so it's all in one. Yeah,
the videos, the exterior shots of the house, fly over.
I've seen drones. I was like, I don't know.
Pole shots, of great poles, the ocean.
Gary, if you would see these drones, you'd shit yourself.
The ocean. I mean, there's so much, especially in South Florida.
He's working hard back there. That's good.
Are you sleeping? Are you sleeping?
Excuse me? No, I've only met Rob a couple days ago. I use drone shots.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a different perspective. Years ago, Gary, I don't know, how long you been in the business for? How long? A long time.
11 years as an agent, but I bought my first duplex in 1978.
And then they had
we used brownies then.
But
you had that flash camera and stuck it on a bulletin
Well,
board.
yeah, but for aerials, you'd have to hire a pilot years ago. Literally, how would you get an aerial without a drone? You'd have to call a pilot up.
I was going to ask you guys, when is the first time that you heard of the internet, or you're so young that there was always?
Well, didn't Al Gore create the internet? Is that what I heard?
I can tell you, the first time I heard about it, I had a money manager, and he opened up an account with me, and he was showing me something. I said, "What is that?" And he said, "It's called the internet." And I said, "Well, I've got to find out about that." And I had a little 12-inch, the computer monitors with the tubes, and the sucker weighed about 60 pounds. And that's only like 1997. It all happened so fast.
Oh, I remember dial-up connection, and the image
would load AOL, right? AOL.
And the image would load from the bottom up slowly.
Remember AOL Instant Messenger?
Yep.
That was the greatest thing ever.
Children.
Yep.
I remembered when you picked the phone up and talked to an operator, and that's no kidding.
Wow. I remember picking up the phone, having my mom on the other line listening to my conversation when you're
Yeah,
in the other room.
I remember that too.
Yeah.
And she picked up the other cordless phone in the house because
Yep.
we had cordless phones
Yep.
then.
Yep.
And she
could hear
could
your
click
whole-
it and you heard a beeping. You're like,
Yep.
you wanted to deny it, right?
Yep.
And you're like, nah, she's not on. And then you're saying things you probably shouldn't say. And then you get your ass kicked.
Yep. That's
after
pretty much
that.
it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the drone, the drone shots, the interior shots of these homes, it's to catch that eye, and once I catch that eye, that's what I want. I want to get them. I want them to watch, because if they're not watching, if they're just going past, it doesn't mean anything, right? I mean,
It's useless.
boom, gone,
Just
done.
wasted your time,
Done.
your money, their money.
I may think it's great, but if it's not getting the views, something's going on, and you got to figure out why they're not watching.
And how do you track the views when you do this?
All through the analytics, through Facebook, through Business Manager, Facebook Business Manager. There's all different things back there to see view times and watch times, and they've watched for 30 seconds maybe. Maybe the videos, like I said, are too long. Shrink them down more, give them a little more oomph.
You're talking about like the drone type of thing, or
Yeah.
like in a real estate type of situation, right?
Yeah, and I mean, if it's a 5-bedroom, 4-bathroom house, do I have to show every bedroom in a video? No, they can push them to the website to look at the pictures too. Got to remember, there's pictures taken. Now, I don't do, weird to say, I do video. I don't like to do pictures. Sounds weird. It'd be like, this guy should do pictures too, not just video. I'm a video guy, not a picture guy. I'm a video guy, just not a picture guy. But push them to a website where they can look through all the pictures. There's 3D tours, virtual tours with a Matterport camera that
You can do the 3D tour.
I haven't. We have a specific person that does that. Basically, it's a camera. You put it down, you hit a button, you walk out of the room, and it scans this whole room, and now it goes into the system. And so we can do the studio, 3D tour of the studio, and when you go on the computer, you just push a button and you can move around virtually.
Now, don't tell me the amount, but what does that cost to have that type of equipment where you can do a 3D video where you can because I've seen it like 100 times.
They're
on
more
Google.
common now than before, so
Are
the
they?
prices, like anything, have gone down on those cameras. I mean, they're still, I don't know the exact cost, but I don't think it's astronomical, is what I'm saying. When it first came out, like anything, it's so many people have it, and the prices were, now that's more common. I mean, now especially with COVID and people not want to leave their houses, they want to do everything from the comfort of their own home. Why not? Why not do a 3D virtual?
So
where
now
they have to
you're
live?
you're in this environment with the COVID and people staying at home. How do you think this will ever bounce back to where people are going back to work, or do you think that the whole society is going to change?
In my opinion, I think, how do I say this? The office job, right?
Right.
The office job. I don't think you need a technical office anymore. Maybe some businesses, I don't know. But if your workers can work remotely, as long as they're still getting the job done, right? That's the important thing. If they're not getting the job done, well then no. Either A, fire their ass, or bring them back to the job. But if they can be just as productive when working from home, why am I paying for an office space? Why am I paying to light up that office space? Why am I paying to heat that office space? Why?
Well, some studies have shown, God knows who it's from, but that after this situation,
Mhm.
that people are like, well, I get more work done at home.
Yeah.
Because I have my schedule.
I think that's a double-edged sword though too.
Okay, elaborate on that one.
Because if you're working from home, right? Yes, you're working from home, but well, he's at home. He can just do this. He's at home. He can just do this. I feel like that you're not that you're taking advantage, because you're getting paid to do a job, but let's say you're hourly and not salary. Let's say you're hourly. I think they're gonna just, well, he's home. He can do this. It's easy. Maybe I'm wrong. I just feel that I feel like I'm always constantly working. But anyway, but I
agree with you though, because in my opinion, it throws off your routine,
Mhm.
right? So now you're not waking up, you're not getting dressed up right, you're just you know,
Yeah.
whatever, because you can just sit in your household.
You're wearing
Day-
shorts because
yeah.
nobody sees, you know, if you're
No,
virtual.
yeah, right. You're not like taking care of yourself, and I think over time that would affect you. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean,
I think you need human interaction. I think going to an office and interacting with people and getting out of the house. And if you got kids, if you got a wife, if you got a dog, I need to get away sometimes, right? I need to go to the office. We all know it. You need to get.
you might get killed from that.
Well, hopefully she's not going to watch this. But you just need to get.
You might get rocked on that one, buddy.
You need to get out. But
I didn't set you up for that, so I don't want to hear it because I know she'll scream at me and yell at me, which I actually would like if she did.
But you know,
I can't wait for her to tell somebody
off.
off.
You keep saying that. She will.
And by the way, your wife is the coolest chick in the world.
She's
I
awesome.
can't wait to hear her tell somebody off.
She will. We'll get you. We'll get her. We'll get her to do that for you. But yeah, I mean, you need human interaction. I think people.
Yeah.
As much as you might say I hate people, hate being around people, think about it. You go out to a bar, you go out to a restaurant, you want people there. You go to a sporting event, you want people there. People like people as much as they say they hate people. Maybe they just like noise. I don't know. They just want something.
But it lacks your development.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think this like homeschool thing on the computer, I mean that's a joke. To me it's a joke.
Yep. Well,
You know, because the kid knows that he's got an iPad wherever, he's got something hidden. You think he's really going to pay attention to this shit?
and think about.
And does the teacher actually know what the hell she's doing on the Zoom?
Yeah.
You know, he can put himself there and, like, below the camera. He might be watching something, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
He's got one AirPod in that has, like, whatever she's saying, and he's got another earphone in that looks the same that
Yeah.
is bullshit. You
You're
know what I
right.
mean? And what that does is it creates a environment where there's no social
But I think it's happened.
environment.
I think it's happened even before this because kids, and I'm guilty of it as a father myself, give your kid the phone, give your kid the tablet. It becomes this pacifier, basically. Oh, if I give the kid this, I don't got to hear him cry and bitch and complain. He's entertained. He's watching whatever video he's watching. And kids nowadays are just this.
Now, what happened when you were growing up, right?
We went outside and played. We got dirty.
Well, how did you get outside and play? Because right now you're saying, like, I would give them the iPad, the iPhone. So what would happen when you were growing up that there was no iPhone, iPad?
That's what I'm saying. We'd go outside and play. We'd go outside and play. We'd get dirty. It wasn't a successful day unless you came home, as my mom used to always say, and you'd get called. Well, my buddy lived right down the street. So my mom would yell for dinner time. And you'd hear her yell. And you knew to come home for dinner, and then I went back to my buddy's house. But that night when you got a bath, if you didn't leave a ring around the tub, as we called it, from being dirty, it wasn't a good day.
Yeah.
It wasn't.
When I was growing up, it was when the street lights came on.
That was time to go home.
Your ass better be
And
home.
what happens if you didn't get home in time?
Not good. Not good. Not good. Depending who was there, and
Sure.
if they weren't there, the next day would not be good.
Yeah.
Gary,
Yes, sir.
at your young age,
Mm-hmm.
when you didn't did your mother and father were Italian, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so did they do the street light thing?
Yeah.
And what happened when you didn't come home and when the street lights came on?
I can't remember. Eisenhower was president. Look, the whole thing that you guys are talking about with the working at home and everything. What were you talking about before? Some people are self-starters
Mm-hmm.
and some people are not. I've been working at home for years.
Mm-hmm.
You get in a car. I used to work at Dean Witter, or I worked on the island with Gruntle. You get in a car. You get on Dixie Highway. 45 minutes later, you park the car, you walk in. You got to say hello.
Yeah,
Productivity.
There's a lot of wasted time.
But if you're a self-starter and you got a brain, you'll get by. If you're not, you won't get by.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think, and I guess it's just a matter of you, person, like you're saying. Some people,
See, I think it all comes down to the way that you were raised. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And like your wife yells at you, you know, I'm like the mean guy with my daughter. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Because I know what's gonna happen if you keep running to a kid that has a brain,
Mhm.
and every time she sniffles, you run to her. You know,
Mhm.
that's gonna lead to being in the mall,
Mhm.
right? And
Mhm.
now, I want this. No. And now she's gonna throw a fit. And now who's gonna be the fucking bad guy? Me.
Mhm.
Okay. And it's just,
My kids call me the no man sometimes because I say
Oh.
no a lot. But
well, don't worry. I'll probably be the no man asshole at the end of this situation.
but what I teach my kids too, I do say yes. It's not always no. But like yesterday, my son said to me, "Can I have $20?" He wanted to get something he saw on Amazon. I said, "Well, what are you going to do for it?"
See, that's a great thing.
He
You
said,
see that, Gary? That's how a man works.
He goes, "What do you mean, Dad?" I go, "What are you going to do for $20?" He goes, "I'll help you do yard work on Saturday." I said, "Okay." So I gave him the benefit of the doubt. I said, "I'll give you the $20, but on Saturday you're going to help me outside, and it may be 3 hours, but I'm giving you 20. Is that cool?" And he could have maybe said, "No, Dad, I want 40 if it's 3 hours." But he
I
agreed.
would have said 40.
But he agreed.
Asshole.
But he agreed to 20. I mean, I'm
Right.
not gonna work him to death. He's
I
gonna
know,
pull
I'm
some
just-
weeds and things like. But what are you gonna do for it? And so it builds up a work ethic, and it builds up. I'm not just gonna get something given to me without having to work for it. Or
And
do
and
something
the problem is in today's society is just like everything's given to you.
given.
You know what I mean?
Gotta work.
You get a trophy no matter what. You know, I mean, you're 10th place, you get a trophy, so everybody's happy. What about the guy that worked his ass off and got the first trophy? You know what I mean?
You go, and you know what? Sometimes life's unfair too, right? I always say that. Sometimes people get lucky. Call it luck. I don't know what you want to call it. Sometimes it just happens. It's just the stars have aligned, and everything moved their way. But you know what? You still got to try to work your ass off to get to where you want to be. And winners and losers, as you talked about, but I'm going to at least go down, if I'm going to go down, saying at the end of the day, I gave every damn thing I got. Everything I got.
See, and I agree with you 100%. I know he would too. Is that if you do everything you have to do, 100%,
Yep.
there's no guilt.
No.
And then people that don't know anything about anything, and I'm saying it, not you,
Yeah.
because you got a business going on. So let me say this: is that if you think that if you like negotiate a middle ground between a winner and a loser, it's not going to end up well.
Mm-hmm.
Because it needs to be taught early
Yeah.
that you win or you lose. There is no middleman. You tell me one middleman that made it anywhere in life. Probably a terrible father. Maybe got hooked on fucking drugs.
Mm-hmm.
Working at wherever they're working at. And as long as they're working, I mean, I think that's cool.
One thing I do think, though, I think failure is a part of winning.
Right.
Success.
Okay.
And I don't mean you want to fail all the time.
Right. Okay. So a failure in my mind, right? Okay. I failed many times, but I didn't give up.
Yes, it's true.
So I came back and I won.
So you never technically failed. You failed, but you didn't fail.
Oh, I failed a
But-
million times.
But I'm saying at the end of the day, all that failure helped to success.
Correct. So yes, you're gonna fail, and what it comes down to, I think personally, and you know, everybody has their own opinion. You're gonna fail,
Mhm.
and if you don't fail, you can't learn.
Mm-hmm.
You have to fail, and you have to go through that feeling of you lost everything, you did everything you could, you rode your bike, you did whatever you had to do, but you failed. Now you have two choices. You can come home and give up
Mm-hmm.
and go get some dumbass job. Or you can say, okay, what did I do wrong? How can I win?
Mm-hmm.
And that's the separation between the two in my mind. And I got a sick mind, but that's in my mind. And if you don't come home and you say, okay, well, I'm just going to go work here, you don't want to be around me because
Yeah.
my belt's coming off.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Psh.
Yeah.
Remember what we were talking about?
Yeah,
You know
yeah.
what I mean? No.
Yeah.
No, you come back and you figure out if this is your passion and you enjoy it and you love it, figure out how to make it work. Anybody can make anything work if they put enough time into it, and don't give up. And you might fail 3, 4, 5, 6 times. And I've had it happen to me. Time and time.
But it
I'm
made
talking
you stronger. It made you the person you are.
because I don't give up. I mean, you see what I do here.
Sure. For those of you that don't know, Tommy works. I ask you all the time, when do you sleep?
Not
I'll sleep
much.
when I'm dead, right? My dad always says, I'll sleep when I'm dead.
Well, I told you that too. I
Yeah.
tell him that too.
I sleep when I'm dead.
When I'm dead, I'll sleep. I'm not dead yet.
Yeah.
So right now I have a family to
Yep.
protect. You know what I
Yep.
mean? I have friends that I have to take care of,
Yep.
and that's just not me. And it will never be me.
Yep.
And all the yelling and people get mad at me or whatever it may be, but this is who I am,
Yep.
and nothing's gonna change me. I
Yep.
mean, because I know what it takes, you know, and it takes a lot of fucking work, and that's how you can easily, within 5 minutes, somebody sits here, I can look at their body language and I can tell you in 5 minutes
How
what
they're-
they are.
Yep.
But in my mind, in my sick mind, you know, I'll admit this, winner or loser,
Yeah.
I can tell in 5 minutes.
Well, and my dad always used to say too is, nobody cares about your problems.
No,
Nobody. The world don't care.
no.
So, you know what? You had a bad day. That's great. Go home. You talk to your wife about it. Honey, had a fucking terrible day today. You know, the camera fell over. You know, this happened, that happened. The world doesn't care. So you just got to figure out a way to figure out what's going on. If you messed up, if something happened, figure it out because nobody cares.
See, I feel like I'm like the black mama. Like I'm like Kobe. You know what I mean? If I can't figure it out, I'll find a fucking way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? No
And
matter
you
what
do.
it takes.
Yeah, you do. And you do.
No matter what it takes. I mean, you,
Yeah.
Rob, I have to give probably 70% credit to all of this. Now, I might have
appreciate
gotten
that.
this stuff, but you got it right.
Yeah, I
And the
appreciate it.
time that you spent here just dealing with bullshit and not raping me, you could have raped me. And I probably
but
would have
why-
paid you
but-
just to
but
get it
why
done.
am I going to do that? Because what's it going to get from me? at
Well,
the
no,
end of
you're a
the day?
little guy.
It's just not going to do anything for me.
Well, that's why I would have
Yeah.
bet money you were Italian, but
I think I'm mixed.
You
I'm a
got it.
mutt,
You have to.
Polish, Italian, Irish.
We get around, Rob.
Yeah, we're mixed.
Gary,
Mixed.
he's got to have Italian in him.
I'm a mutt. I know that. I'm a mutt.
Gary, you think he's got Italian in him?
Oh, he's a decent guy.
I think my grandmother, we used to, the mutt, like I said, because on Christmas Eve dinner.
A month's okay as long as you got a little bit of.
Well, with Christmas Eve dinner, we used to do the Feast of the Seven Fishes.
With the fish. There you go.
there you go.
It's
So
over.
it was the jelly, disgusting fish that
Blah,
haddock. We did haddock, the baked haddock. So, and then pierogies, but that's where the Polish part comes in. So, I'm telling you, it's a weird mix.
So what'd you guys have? You had the seven
so
fishes.
Christmas Eve dinner is the
Yeah.
Feast of the Seven Fishes, as my grandmother called it. That ugly, disgusting. What is it called, Gary? The jelly?
Bacala is the salted fish. I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't know. She had like this. It looked like the fish was almost sitting in like a jelly. It was disgusting. Ugh. And then you had baked haddock. She did have pasta, so I think that was her time. But then it was pierogies too. It was a weird. I'm telling you, it was a weird
Pierogies.
pierogies. You know what a
How the
pierogi?
fuck did we get pierogies? in
That's
that
the
one?
Polish part, though. I'm
That's
telling
the
you,
Polish
it's,
part.
Yeah, it's a
Oh.
mutt. It's a mix.
Somebody was drinking. That's
Yeah,
all
there
I
was a-
gotta say.
But and then the Irish side on my dad's side. So yeah, I'm a mix of everything. My kids.
But
got
you
it.
definitely got Italian in it.
I
If they're doing the
guess.
seven fishes, you got Italian in it.
That's
Yeah,
it.
it's got. I mean, like I said, my,
That's why he's the way he is. He's the little guy. I trust him with my life.
and it's where I grew up. It's just how I was raised. I mean, it's my. I credit to my parents. I mean, I'm not this person because I was born like this. My parents instilled that into me. I mean, I firmly believe that. You know,
And I'm so upset that that's what's happening nowadays is that your parents can't instill what they need to. You know what I mean? To me, that's some type of fear because, you know, everyone wants to love everybody, sure, but that doesn't work. It
Mhm.
doesn't work. Look what's happening.
Well, kids run their parents now too. Kids tell their parents what to do. I've seen it. They
Now, maybe this won't get monetized, but I really don't care.
Yeah.
But now, have you ever seen a man be a stay-at-home mom?
Have I ever seen it? No.
Okay, I've seen it like guys that I know
Yeah.
that are like, basically, they're like the stay-at-home mom.
They don't work.
They don't work. They're like cooking
I
dinner.
can't do that. I can't do that. I mean,
Well-
I work from home right now, and my kids.
No. What I'm saying is they're taking care of the kids. They're cooking dinner, waiting for the wife to get home. They're stirring the crock pot,
And
all this shit.
They don't work, or they do work.
They don't work.
No, I can't do that.
I blow my head off before I did
I
that.
can't do that. No,
Yeah.
that's just something I think a guy and women work. I get. I'm not, but I think guys, you have to. As a man, you would work no matter what.
Okay, I'll say. I think that the man is the alpha male, and if you're not, then you're weak.
Yeah.
And the man provides and protects. The woman takes care of all this other bullshit.
Sure.
You know, if I don't think a woman that I'm with should work
Yeah.
because I'll provide. Now, in your
It's-
situation, it's a little bit different because she has a bomb-ass job. You know, I mean, she's cutting
Yeah.
heavy hitters. You know what I mean? But,
Yeah. No, I know what you're saying.
you know,
But I would have to work. I would
Right.
have to work. There's just there's no other way. I mean,
it would drive you nuts.
yeah.
That's why he's working 69, 72, whatever the fuck he is.
84. Hi.
84, jerking
Yep.
off, whatever he's doing.
Yep. by the way, Mr. Mom, 1983, Michael Keaton.
Oh,
And
movie.
Terry
Oh, I
Garr.
know Michael Keaton. Batman.
Batman. That is
That's-
Batman.
That's 41.
Well, at least we got past the 30s with him.
Yeah. What's the Gary? You were gone. Gary's talking. He's talking about. Tommy's always busting me about my 30s movies.
Yeah, but he's got 30s movies, 40s movies. I said, Gary.
They're in black and
I
white.
said to him like 3 times. 90s and above. But he's like a dickhead Italian guy. You can't get to him.
They're black and white. And do they have sound or what's?
There's a website, OK.ru. It's the Russian Facebook.
Uh-huh.
You can get any movie that you want to get. And I'm into Joan Blondell and Carol Lombard and Joan Bennett and all these chicks from the 30s. But
No
what
idea who these people are.
No.
But you know something? I wasn't born in the Civil War, but I know who Abraham Lincoln is, right?
Oh, me too, but I don't know what
Well,
the
the
hell
whole
happened
thing,
in
the whole
1930.
thing is, and he and I were talking before. Jesse was telling me the other day he's got his corporate people down. We don't know what's going to happen next. Well, nobody knows what's going to happen next, but history repeats itself.
Yeah.
So when you go back,
There's warning signs.
you go back and you look at the crash of '29, and you look at how the people
I was
acted.
talking about 1929. I said, please don't go. I said,
People-
can you do 90 and
He's
above?
in the 20s
Or
now.
1929.
People act the same way over and over and over.
Good point.
So
That's a
when
good
when
point.
when
Yeah.
you're asking me about these stock charts and everything, all it is it's buying behavior. And you go back in time and the same patterns, different names for the
Sure.
companies, but the patterns repeat themselves.
Creatures of habit, I guess.
And
right?
that's why I look at all of that. You and I talk about Trump all the time, and what's he thinking? Because he lives right up the street when he's here in Florida. And I'm seeing Sun Tzu all over the place. I'm seeing Machiavelli. I'm telling you that.
So you'll read that book and your whole attitude is going to change.
It comes in 2 days, I believe.
Yeah, I mean, he's a smart guy. And people, well, I don't like the way he talks. That's your business. I got people I don't like either. I still respect them.
But see, I think if he didn't talk the way he talked, he would never got elected. I think that people
Sure, he
loved that he was just like me and you. You know what
just a
I mean? A
regular
little
person.
bit more
oomph.
right to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So now, last question I have for you:
Yeah.
why do you use Final Cut Pro to do all your editing? Because there's the
Adobe,
Uh,
Edius, there's a
Pen something.
there's a bunch.
My friend uses that Pan one, but why do you use Final Cut?
So for me, because it's something that I guess it's just what I've always, creature of habit. I've used Final Cut now for years and years and years and years, and I think I've mastered it. There's still things I learn. There's different things I download, add-ons, plugins, different things that do different effects. It's become my comfort. Now, I've played with other softwares, right? Nonlinear editing systems. I just prefer it.
Now, when you say non-linear,
nonlinear.
what does that mean?
So that's through software, through just taking clips and putting them on timeline. When I worked when I first started in the news, we used to cut from tape to tape. I'm not that old, but literally.
So tell me how that works. That's interesting.
Okay.
Tell me how that works.
So you see the big cameras, right? You put the big camera
Yeah,
on the
like the
shoulder.
big-ass
and that's why
camcorders.
I have to go to the chiropractor now because my one shoulder apparently sits lower than the other. I have no idea.
And that's because of the camcorder?
I think so because I constantly, you figure even when I'm resting, I'd be like hunched this way.
Yeah.
Years and years and years. So I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe I just think that. My wife tells me this side dips down more, whatever. So I'm going to a chiropractor actually to get it.
Chiropractor is the biggest ripoff in the
Maybe
world.
adjust it. We'll see.
Well, before you pay anything, let me know.
So, camera on the shoulder, used to take tape. DVC Pro tape. It's a smaller looking tape, right? And we'd shoot video.
But what's it called?
DVC Pro.
Is that like an A tape that you would put in like your car?
So it's like right now, no. But it's a smaller tape. So imagine like right now, the cameras you're shooting on a card, some of the cards are the mini SD cards, right? Small little cards. This was a tape that you recorded on, like a cassette tape. You listen to music on years ago.
Gotcha.
So basically like that. So you'd record onto that, get done shooting the video, shooting the story. I call it the story. Shooting the story. Interview Tommy. Interview this guy. Interview that guy. Shoot shots of the scene. Boom. Write the story out. Put it together. Track it. Do all that type of stuff. Right. Now you put that tape into a player, and on the other side you have another tape that I don't even know how I did it. To this day, I look back, I'm like, how the hell did I do that? And you used to have this dial. You used to switch, and then you'd get to a part where you liked what he said. So if Tommy said a nice clip, you would physically almost like copy from that tape to the other tape. And
Sort of be like you would put like your finger in the cassette tape and
no, the tape's in the system into a machine, like a VCR almost. And you had like a controller almost, and it would have like a rewind button and all. It was a circular thing though, but that's how you would rewind. I still don't know to this day how I did it. I did it for 2 years until we moved to the nonlinear. But then you would take and you'd hit an in point, it's called, and an out point. And that in point and out point would basically copy to the other tape that's blank. And you'd get dissolves in there through a button. It was the weirdest thing in the world. But it took so much time. And guess what? Yeah, it happened. The tape got stuck the one day. And guess what? You just lost everything because it just...
it crushed up. It was over. So all that time that you put into it, all that time that you tried to fix it, dead.
Done. Tape got eaten. You remember having a cassette tape where it gets eaten?
Oh, yeah.
Done.
I wasn't alive for the 8-tracks, but I was alive for the cassette tapes. Yeah, I had a lot of them.
Done.
So now, would you recommend what the hell is this fucking thing
ATEM Blackmagic
Yeah.
Studio, Television Studio HD. It just kicked my ass, man. It kicked my ass. It kicked my ass. Right now, I mean, it's working perfect, though, right? Knock on wood. We say that now when we have problems. I just wish ATM, if you're watching this, if somebody from your company watches this,
Send a power cord?
send a power cord and make it a little more user-friendly. I mean, a little more user-friendly.
Yeah, and what that
Not
is...
user-friendly in that.
What
but
that is, if you're doing a podcast or you're doing like a YouTube channel and you have, 4 or 5 cameras,
Mhm.
Instead of editing it in Final Cut Pro, you can just click on whoever's talking.
Yep.
But this thing to set up
It's a nightmare.
is some serious shit.
It's a nightmare, man.
It's an absolute nightmare. So you better hire Rob because now he's been through it for 60 hours. He can maybe do it in 20.
It was unreal. Incredible.
Okay, so now if somebody wants to get a hold of you, say Gary wants to or another real estate agent, to do like the drone things that you do and the really impressive things that you do,
Mhm.
how do we get a hold of you?
I just normally give out my my cell phone number. That's the way I do it right now. I don't have a website built yet. I know I probably should, but I don't. I'm a pretty humble guy. Work with what I need to get. I need to get myself more out there even though I work on this, but just my cell phone number.
But it's working for you, right?
Yeah.
All right.
It's I'm doing what I need to
What's
do.
your cell phone number?
It's 561-801-6621.
As if I don't have it.
Yeah,
But
you can just
you know,
call me, text
I have
me.
them changing my lights every 2 seconds.
Text me, Tommy text me, text back and forth. So I'm a pretty easygoing guy. I think I can be pretty easygoing. So
Rob, you're one of the best guys I've ever worked with in my life. You're
I appreciate
loyal. You're a stand-up guy.
I appreciate that.
You really are.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Thank you for your time tonight,
Thanks,
Rob.
Tommy. Thanks
I
so much.
appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.